morning and welcome to Spartan Spotlight, where we bring you all things regarding AU athletics. I'm Loretta Johnson. Today we will be talking with men's lacrosse head coach Kyler Berkman and athletic trainer Nicole Peart. We will also have a short feature story to hear about one of the senior runners on the men's track and field team. Berkman and the men's lacrosse team have just started practice and are looking forward to a great spring season. How are you doing today, Berkman?
Doing fine, thanks for asking.
Thanks for coming on the show. So let's just start off. When did you realize your passion for coaching?
That's a good question. I think it was probably as a young kid watching my father. Wanted to really follow in his footsteps, and watching him on the field kind of inspired me. And I love the game, and when I got to college, I didn't really see myself doing much else besides teaching other young men how to play the game. So that's kind of how it came about. Following
in your father's footsteps, I see.
Yes.
That's exciting. Yeah. So how did you end up at Aurora University?
It was an opportunity. One of my father's former players, Brendan Dawson, was the original head coach here, and he was here for the first year. I came out as his graduate assistant, and he got another opportunity right after his first year, and after he left, it was a chance for me to step into the head coaching role.
Nice. So what has been your main focus on improving from last season to this season?
Just continuing to progress. We have a lot of strong seniors this year, and I think them working hard over the summer. And we have some good freshmen coming in this year, and I think it's getting everyone on the same page. And starting, we're 2 practices in, getting everyone meshed together before our first game here in a couple weeks.
Nice. So I've seen you guys in the weight room quite a lot. What else have you guys been doing to prep for the first game?
We do a lot with Chad Trudeau, the strength and conditioning coach. He's working with our guys 4 or 5 times a week. Captains practices, and they do some wall ball, and something that we call wall ball is, basically throwing the ball off the wall 1,000 times, just repetitions to get comfortable with your stick. And that's the biggest thing is keeping the stick in your hands through the off season.
Nice. So you said that there are a lot of seniors on the team. Has anybody in specific kind of stepped up as a captain, or do you assign those roles to them?
We had a couple guys step up through the fall, and I think Max Obrick, Jordan Williams, John Glendy, Travis Brown, and then some underclassmen have stepped up as well. It's going to be a unique dynamic. This is a lot of guys that haven't been in captain roles before this year, so it's going to take a little bit of a learning curve for them, but they have pushed us in the right direction over the last couple months.
So what does the role as a captain kind of look like in your eyes?
I think it's getting guys to workouts in the off season, holding each other accountable, getting guys up for practice, making sure everyone's on the same page when they come out to practice. Guys can sometimes come out a little lackadaisical, and it's captain's job to make sure they're getting it going. So those things, and just upholding expectations on a daily basis.
Okay, cool. So obviously lacrosse is known as a team sport, and communication is key. How is the team camaraderie between all the lacrosse players?
I think much like a lot of our sports on campus, the camaraderie is good. Being a community type atmosphere, I think Aurora really helps our guys mesh together off the field as well as on the field, and we're doing well. We did a drill actually that had to do with communication this morning, so I kind of chuckle.
So obviously winning is key for every program here. Can you elaborate on a little bit more on how to succeed in the classroom, in the community, as well as in the sport?
I think it's time management, setting aside time for your priorities, and obviously school comes first as academics, and then lacrosse for us. So, it's obviously every athlete wants to get to the weight room or wants to get to the gym and wants to be social and do everything that a regular college student does. But, it's setting aside time to get your homework done before you go play video games or before you go hit the wall and do those other things that I think are very easy distractions to get caught up in for hours on end. I think it's important that you put aside that time early on.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, you were a student athlete. So what can your experience as a student athlete, what can you give to your student athletes?
Probably every cliche that you've heard from one of your coaches or adults, is just do it right the first time, and don't wait to get in a hole. We have a familiar saying, be proactive rather than reactive. Don't wait until you get a C or a D to start really putting that time aside. Get ahead of the curve and get an A or B on the first test or quiz or paper, and then the rest will kind of be cake from there.
Yeah. So as a coach, you're always recruiting. What are you looking for in specific potential recruits?
Athleticism. I can teach a guy how to throw, we can make him bigger, we can make him faster, we can make him stronger, but I don't really think you can teach a person how to be athletic. That's either ingrained in you or it's not. So athleticism, and then we talk a lot about hard work and knowing the expectation before you get here. If you can meet expectations, you're going to do well.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys, where are you guys headed for your first game?
First game is here, Illinois Wesleyan, February 16th.
Okay. So have you guys played them before?
We've never played them before, actually. They were a brand new team last year, so it'll be, first time ever that we played them.
What kind of strategies do you implement for teams that you've never played before? I know sometimes you play schools so repetitively that you know how they play almost. So what can we expect for a game where you've never played?
I think just preparing within ourselves, no stones unturned, doing everything, offensively, defensively, having everything in place that we need to play the best that we can. And if that's good enough to beat the other team, then that's the way it'll end up.
Okay, so one last question for you. I know you've been coaching here for quite a while. So what does being a Spartan mean to you?
I think I have a real sense of pride in the community, and I think we have a familiar saying within the athletic department is 21 sports, one team, and I really think that holds true, and everyone's kind of come on the same page. And I think, the last couple of years you've really seen a rededication to athletics, and I think people really care about it, and there's been a lot of new exciting changes, and there's more to come. So I think everyone's really excited, and there's a nice buzz in the air.
Yeah, for sure. I've definitely seen it. The athleticism here is just phenomenal. So thank you so much for being here with us today, and good luck with your first game. Good luck with the rest of the year and keep up the good work. We will now have a short feature story about one of the senior runners on the men's track and field team to hear about his senior year and plans for after graduation.
When I wanted to be a senior on the track team, and this is my. I started doing track in middle school, and it just was like the one sport that I connected with. I played soccer, but it wasn't. I just didn't like love it as much as I did track, and then. After high school, I didn't think I was good enough to jump in college, and then Coach Chapman recruited me. And I've been able to connect with them really well here, and it's been an amazing experience. Just the team, it's huge, so we have a whole bunch of people, like 140 kids this year, I think. So it's like a giant family, we're all really close, and it's great winning with a big group of people like that. Be great today, Spartans.
It is always so great to hear from the seniors and their passion for their sports. I am now here with athletic trainer Nicole Parrott and to talk about her job and her role here at Aurora University. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great this morning, thank you.
Thank you for coming along. So, what made you decide to get licensed as an athletic trainer, and what do you love most about your job?
Well, I was really fortunate to have athletic trainers at my high school. That was uncommon when I was going through high school, but I was exposed to the profession when I was in high school, and it was perfect for me because I was a lifelong athlete and I was used to being around athletes, and it provided me an opportunity to combine a passion for helping people and for science and that type of work, and also with being around athletes the rest of my life. So I set that career path when I was looking for institutions, and I never deviated from it. So I'm really fortunate now in about my 10th year of athletic training, and definitely the best part about the job is the student athletes. Every day is different, the interactions are always unique, and certainly they touch my lives, I think, as much as I touch theirs, and so yeah, it's just fun every day.
Yeah, it's definitely a great experience, especially with all the different sports that are within the schools right now. Being an Aurora University alum, do you feel like you are at home with AU?
I really do. After I completed my graduate career at Northern Illinois University, I got a job at ATI Physical Therapy, and I was really pretty happy there. I kind of figured I'd be there for an extended period of time, and a job opened up here as an assistant athletic trainer 1 year into my work at ATI, and actually I was called by some of the people that still worked here and said, you should apply, this is perfect for you, come back. And so just to have that kind of invitation to come back and know that, the connections that I made with people were still alive and well. So that was 7 years ago, and I continue to build relationships with the people that were here, some of the professors and staff, and I'm really excited about the new relationships that I built, not only with the student athletes, but some of the new staff as well.
Yeah, it's awesome to come back here. You obviously know the campus pretty well and the sports. So you did mention that you used to work at Northern Illinois. What is the difference between working at, such a big school like that compared to a smaller campus like AU?
I think there's a few differences. One is just that it's really high profile. I went through Northern Illinois and worked as a graduate assistant in the athletics department with football and softball. And so that was really fun. It was when Northern Illinois was really coming on the football scene. And so we went to Iowa and Ohio and we're on TV all the time. And so I think the high profile nature of it, which can shape athletic training a little bit. And also the fact that we have year-round access to the athletes, that's a little bit different. At the Division III level, there are seasons and you have to be a little bit more strict about when the athletes can have contact with the athletics department. So I think those are some of the differences. I think on the Division III side, one thing that I note is that there's a passion for it. You can see that at Division I too, but when scholarship dollars get involved, that can change the equation a little bit. And so, when you have a senior at the D3 level, they're still passionate about it, because if they weren't, they would have dropped from the team. Whereas at the Division I level, sometimes they get to the senior level and they're really just doing it to finish out with their scholarship. And so, there's several differences, but ultimately D3 is where, I competed and where I'd prefer to stay. So.
Okay, so where did you compete? What did you play?
So I competed here in both soccer and in basketball. I actually had a really bad injury my sophomore year in soccer, so that kind of continued to drive home the point that I wanted to do athletic training. So I competed there for 2 years, and then I finished playing basketball. Okay,
so I know that you kind of stated that at NIU you oversaw football. Mm-hmm. What are some of the main sports that you oversee here?
So I continued with football, and it's quite different. So at the graduate assistant level, you're kind of at the bottom of the totem pole, so to speak, with athletic training, which was fine because you really do a lot of work, and that was really important for my learning. Here I still do football, but now I kind of oversee it, so I have a little bit of a different role. And then I work directly with softball as well, and then from an auxiliary standpoint, tennis. But as the head athletic trainer, I'm really responsible for overseeing all of the sports. So while I work directly with football and softball and tennis, it's my responsibility to make sure that all of the team's needs are getting met.
Yeah, for sure. And so I know that a lot of the athletic training majors will come in and kind of do athletic training hours. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. So, from an athletic training standpoint, as well as other healthcare professions, it's important that you can do the hands-on skills. If you can take a test and you understand the knowledge, that's important in one part of it. But if you can't then translate those skills to the hands-on, you're not going to be a great clinician. And so the athletic training students come down and use Aurora University as a clinical site, and really we're there as preceptors to teach them the kind of clinical skills, as well as model for them how to build relationships with athletes, how to build relationships with coaches, how to coordinate the kind of day-to-day, and keep all the balls in the air, so to speak.
Yeah, I know a lot of times when I come down, everybody's so friendly and building that relationship, so I think that you've taught them well with that. So athletic training isn't the only thing that you play a role in here at AU. Can you tell me about some of your other roles on campus?
Sure. So when I first got hired on 7 years ago, it was an assistant athletic trainer position, and I've been really fortunate in the time I've been here to change roles and change positions and take on more responsibilities. So right now I'm an assistant athletic director, and I oversee kind of student athlete well-being. So under that heading, I'm helping coordinate all the community service through the department. I'm helping with the Spartan game planning, which is some of the academic mentoring we're doing within the department. I'm also the senior woman administrator. That's a unique position to NCAA athletics, and that's a strong female voice in the department that really ensures equity, but specifically gender equity amongst the student athletes, which is really important.
Oh wow, I really didn't know that, so that's awesome to hear. So as an AU alum, and kind of working, like you said, for about 7 years on campus, what does being a Spartan mean to you?
I think we heard from Coach Berkman earlier in that it's all about community, and I really feel the same way. I think one of the things I try to tell all the recruits and potential student athletes that I talk to is that you have to try harder to fail at Aurora than you do to succeed. There are so many people that are here that are invested in the success of all of the students and all of the student athletes that that sense of community was really attractive to me when I was here as a student, and it's really what brought me back as an alum. And so, the fact that everybody knows your name, everybody knows not only what you're doing career-wise, but also personally, I think that that's a really important part, and the focus on excellence. It's important to me to be involved in athletics programs where winning is a priority, but winning in a way that is done really in an ethically and positive way. Those are things that really keep me here and keep me excited.
Yeah, I know I've seen a lot of teams do a lot of community service hours, so it's definitely great to see that and that their only focus isn't on the sport.
Yeah, I think, trying to instill in the students that they're going to graduate from this institution and to be citizens that, place an importance on giving back to people that are less fortunate, but also finding your passion outside of athletics or your career is really important as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being a part of our campus, and thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks.
Thank you for all the work that you do, Nikki, with the sport programs and the athletes. Please get ready to come out and support the men's basketball team on Wednesday as they take on Dominican University at 7 p.m. in the Thornton Gymnasium. Also, come support the women's basketball team as they take on rivals Benedictine University on Tuesday at 7 p.m. in Lisle. That is all the time we have today on Spartan Spotlight. Be great today, Spartans.